and welcome to another episode of Anfield Watch. Today we're going to be talking about Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, just what's going wrong at Liverpool at the moment. And we're also going to be talking about a possible solution. To do that, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Football Transfers' Bundesliga expert, Ronan Murphy. Ronan, welcome back to the show.
Thanks very much. It's a tricky one saying football transfers is there's just too many S's there. Is it S apostrophe, S apostrophe S? These are the things that keep journalists up at night.
Yeah, exactly. But look, last time you were on the show, we were talking about being excited about Wirtz's arrival. Now, I think we're almost two months into the season, almost three. It feels like things haven't really started in the way that maybe you would have envisaged, and I think Liverpool fans definitely would have envisaged. Why do you think that is?
I think there's always an adjustment time for players coming to a new league or players coming to a more difficult league or a more intense, more physical league. I think we've seen it in the past. It has taken some players more time to adjust than others to the Premier League, but I'm surprised that it has taken Wirtz this long to adjust, or maybe this long to get the thing that's most important to people when they watch football or read about football or talk about football: goals and assists. That's all people talk about these days. You wouldn't win the Ballon d'Or as a defensive midfielder or defender anymore. Those days are long gone. That's not going to happen. Or maybe Rodri. Mostly it's not going to happen anymore. But yeah, you need goals, you need assists, and if you're an attacking sort of player, you definitely need goals and assists. And yeah, Florian Wirtz hasn't really been providing either of those things, Community Shield aside. So I think it's just, he's never kind of had to make this adjustment before, because he came through the academy at Cologne before he went to Bayer Leverkusen, but he came through as a professional footballer, a senior men's footballer at Bayer Leverkusen, and he's never had this sort of adjustment before. He's never had to adjust to a new team, a new environment, new teammates, living in somewhere away from home, because he is kind of a local in that area of Germany. So yeah, it's all a big adjustment for him. But I think at the same time, you've got to question some of the people who are criticising him and where they're coming from too, because it's not necessarily the Liverpool fans who are watching him week in, week out, or watch him at the weekend and see him come on and how he can make a difference against Manchester United, and maybe at times Liverpool might look a better team. So I think it's just that adjustment period. But you can see that some of the elements are there, that he is going to be a good player, or he is still a good player. He just maybe needs to get those 4 or 5 assists that he could have at another time, because he's creating the chances. If we were here and he had no goals but he had 5 assists, you'd be like, yeah, he's been all right. But yeah, you just need those stats to add up to maybe the performances, and his own performances need to improve. I think he's aware of that himself.
Obviously, you've watched his career for a long time. What do you think his mentality is like? His is he someone who reads a lot of the comments about him? Will he be sort of very attentive to what the media are saying right now? Or is he someone who's sort of able to tune that out and very much has that confidence and belief in himself, that no matter what the outside people are saying, he still has that self-belief and that confidence that things will improve and he will show what he's capable of?
I think he's very much a football first kind of person, and a family first kind of person. I think you've kind of seen that in the past, and he won't let these doubters maybe take from him, or he won't even pay attention to what they're saying, because when he came back from injury with Bayer Leverkusen, people kind of thought that maybe he wouldn't be as good as he was before, because injuries like that, they can set you back, and especially a young player in their development. And hopefully we will see Leone bounce back from his current injury for Liverpool once he's back to normal. And you have seen it in the past that these things can get in on you when you're kind of watching your team flourish without you, or your team get on without you, when you're watching other players develop and maybe other players take your position. And he never really let that phase him. I don't think he's let any criticism of him in the past, although there has been a lot, because he played so well for Leverkusen at times. But sometimes for Germany, he might have been criticised that he wasn't doing as much as they thought either. on the pitch, especially during maybe a Hansi Flick era at Germany. So I don't think he's let it phase him before in the past, and I don't think he will again. I think he will just try and do his talking on the pitch, and you have seen moments of it and glimpses of it that sometimes when his feet do the talking, they can't talk quite well.
I think you sort of alluded to it earlier, but you sort of mentioned that the people who actually watch his performances will see that kind of the criticism and everything that's being talked about on social media is very much overblown. I mean, who would have thought that social media overblowing something? That's crazy. But I do think, obviously, I introduced you as a Bundesliga expert, but you watch a lot of Premier League as well, and you talk about the Premier League, and you will have seen his games. How different is he to the Bayer Leverkusen version? Because to me, I don't necessarily think Liverpool's problems are because of him, and the results are there to show for it as well. When he has started games, Liverpool have won those games. I think the only exception is the Galatasaray match. And when I have watched the games, I've never once thought, oh, this is Florian Wirtz's fault, or like the reason why Liverpool are not playing well is because of him. He always seems to me the one who's creating chances and who's making things happen. Even the equaliser against Manchester United, that came from him. Federico Chiesa will get the credit for the assist, and Cody Gakpo for the goal that he almost missed, to be honest. But for me, the goal was all about Wirtz's running and the way he created space for everyone else.
Yeah, he did a lovely pass to set up Chiesa and find Chiesa in loads of space, and it's something maybe he hasn't been afforded at Liverpool, and that's probably the biggest difference. You asked me to start to question what has been the difference between him, or is there any difference between Leverkusen and Liverpool? And I think it's because at Leverkusen he was kind of the key player, and he was fed the ball maybe more than he's being fed it at Liverpool. So there was these opportunities to not get things right. There was more opportunities to not get things right, and more opportunities then for him to try and bamboozle defenders or make that clever pass or maybe jink around a couple of players or things like that. He had more time and more space in Germany. So you got to see that sort of a player. You will get to see more of their skill set more often, and maybe the mistakes or when things don't go right, or maybe when the pass hits a defender rather than a teammate, that's kind of brushed off because he'll get the ball again in another 30 seconds, under 40 seconds or whatever. He'll get the ball quickly again. But because of the way Liverpool are play, and because Liverpool have many mouths to feed and many attacking talents who kind of are a showpiece event in themselves, maybe he's getting a little bit less, and he's trying a bit too hard as a result to be on the same wavelength as these guys. But I think it will come, and I think you just kind of have to be patient. But like you said, Liverpool's problems are much more than Florian Wirtz at the moment. I think there's problems elsewhere, and once Arne Slot can sort of solve some of those, maybe once other players are taking too, you will see Florian Wirtz taking, because it's not like you're giving him 5 out of 10 and everyone else 8 out of 10 every week. It just isn't the way that Liverpool are at the moment, and I know they're still getting results, but it's not kind of the same as we saw last season, or we definitely didn't see during the Jurgen Klopp era. I think Klopp would definitely love him as a player, and you see with some of the quotes that have come out recently, the way he's talking about him, he adores this guy, and he's right to adore this guy. I think we will see the best from him, and we probably will see the best from him when we start to see the best from Liverpool as a whole.
Yeah, I think we'll probably move on to what you mentioned there, that there are other problems at Liverpool right now. One of those problems is the right back situation, where obviously Jeremy Frimpong, another player we talked about in the summer and another Bundesliga export at Liverpool, was supposed to be the solution. He arrived in the summer to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold. He started pretty much all the pre-season games. He was playing regularly, even the sort of last game before Liverpool's Community Shield match against Crystal Palace. He started alongside Milos Kerkez, and I was there in the stands at Anfield against Atletico Bilbao, and Arne Slot was instructing both Kerkez and then Frimpong in the second half, when they played on next to the touchline, to keep pressing, keep pushing forward. And it felt like Liverpool were going to have these two really attacking wingers, fullbacks, who will almost function as wingers. And then suddenly as the season started, things changed. Dominic Szoboszlai becomes Liverpool's almost first choice right back. Conor Bradley is getting a lot more game time, and Frimpong's almost forgotten about. There was a lot of debates when he first arrived at Liverpool whether he can play as a right back in this system or whether he is just a wing back and potentially a winger in Arne Slot's system. But what have you made of his start, and what do you think is the answer to those questions? Can he actually be a right back in this system, or is he forever just doomed to be Mo Salah's backup at this point?
I think the problem there is you have to look at both kind of left and right back at the moment, and Corques is equally kind of floundering, or maybe hasn't hit the ground running the same way as Frimpong. Neither of them have hit the ground running. I mean, I don't think the Liverpool system, the Schlott system, can carry both of those players. You can have an attacking fullback or another attacking fullback, but with Konate and Van Dijk in at the moment, and the way Konate maybe isn't as playing to the high level that we have seen in the past from him. Van Dijk, he never changes, so he's playing pretty high, but perhaps it might be that pains to admit for some Liverpool fans, maybe he's not playing as well as he has played in the past either. But generally the back four hasn't played as well as it has played, and you can't then carry a left back who is going to bomb on and go forwards, and the right back who's going to do it. And the simplest solution is to play Conor Bradley or Szoboszlai maybe there, because they have maybe more of those defensive aspects of their game, or they will sit back and protect the defence better. They'll help out the centre backs a bit more. Whereas Frimpong, that never was really a strong point, was it? I think everybody who saw him play, it was, you weren't necessarily signing this guy for his defensive qualities, you were signing him for his offensive qualities, and he can replace Salah, maybe with Salah's at the AFCON. Maybe that's what's going to happen there, but he has worked in the past, and even before he came to Liverpool, he has worked to try and improve these defensive qualities, but he isn't a defender. He isn't a right back first and foremost. He is a right wing back. But if Andy Robertson was playing left back, Frimpong might be better suited playing right back, because Robertson could tuck in and maybe form a back three with Konate and Van Dijk, allowing Frimpong to push on. So I think there are solutions there, but the solution probably isn't Corques and Frimpong in the same back line at the moment, because I think you need three centre backs for that to work, to have any sort of defensive protection, because Frimpong's not going to give it to you for large parts of the game, and that's not really his game. And I think anyone who watched him, and when Liverpool signed him, it was the question that, like you said, the question everybody asked: how is this guy going to fit in? He hasn't, unfortunately, because I think the problems are all across the defence, or on both sides of the defence. And like I mentioned earlier, the Leone injury, that's another big blow, because you can't kind of bring him in, or you can't even try three at the back, because there's not players to fall back on. If anything was to happen to one of them during a game, you would have to change to rip up the template altogether. So at the moment, with four at the back, I'm not sure it's going to work for the short term with Frimpong and Corques. I think you have to drop one of them out, and Frimpong seems the easier choice.
Now that you mentioned three at the back, we have to talk about Schlotterbeck, who's being linked with Liverpool at the moment. He's someone who I think at the moment is sort of dithering on a contract extension, and some media in Liverpool and in Germany have reported that Liverpool are one of the favourites, or are looking to sign him, potentially even as early as January. We'll see what that happens. It's still a long way to go until then. But he's a player who, I was looking at the numbers statistically, last season in the Champions League, he averaged the most progressive passes out of any player in the competition. In Europe's top 5 leagues, he was the centre-back who averaged the most progressive passes as well, and I think ranked 4th overall. Liverpool at the moment are kind of missing that player who can sort of pass between the lines and improve their build-up play and get them into those sort of dangerous areas, and provide the passes to Salah and Wirtz in the areas where they thrive and where they are most effective. So for me, this Schlotterbeck link kind of, I know it's very early on in the season, and at this stage transfer rumours can sort of be, how should I say, unreliable, not really come to anything. But for me, seeing Liverpool's problems and seeing how you could solve those problems, Schlotterbeck seems kind of like the perfect option. He improves Liverpool's build-up and he gives Liverpool the opportunity to play with three at the back, potentially Van Dijk being the centre of that three at the back, Schlotterbeck stepping forward on the left-hand side and Konate playing on the right-hand side. Have you, as a Bundesliga expert, have you heard anything about these rumours, and what can you tell us about Schlotterbeck?
Well, yeah, the two questions there are, why is there rumours now about Schlotterbeck leaving Borussia Dortmund? And the main reason for that is not Liverpool, it's Bayern Munich. Because when did these rumours come out? The week before Borussia Dortmund played Bayern Munich. And if you've followed any sort of transfer speculation in the Bundesliga for the past 20 years or more, this always happens. This is what always happened. Mario Götze, before Borussia Dortmund played Bayern Munich in the Champions League final, yep, you guess it. That's when everyone found out, yeah, Mario Götze has got to leave Borussia Dortmund for Bayern Munich. Robert Lewandowski, something similar came out. Yeah, before we play each other, the German media is going to get wind that Bayern Munich are going to sign Borussia Dortmund's best player. This is what always happens. So take any rumours about Borussia Dortmund player leaving before they play Bayern Munich to Bayern Munich with a pinch of salt. But they would be remiss to not actually be interested in him. Because of course Bayern Munich are interested in him, because he is one of the best players in the Bundesliga that doesn't play for Bayern Munich. And Liverpool are of course interested in him because they bought plenty of players from the Bundesliga recently. They have a great relationship with Borussia Dortmund. He is Borussia Dortmund's best player, and he is the biggest problem in Liverpool at the moment in the medium and long term is who's going to play centre back. So they would be crazy not to look at Nico Schlotterbeck. And he is crucial to Borussia Dortmund. He has all those attributes you mentioned. He is a brilliant footballer on the ball and off the ball. And if you look at the difference between when he played for Borussia Dortmund and when he was injured for Borussia Dortmund, they're a totally different team. He is a leader on the pitch. He brings players up around him. He is the ideal centre-back you would like to sign as maybe a partner or a successor for Virgil van Dijk at the moment. And so it's no surprise Liverpool are interested in him. Liverpool, they've spent lots of money recently, so maybe they'll spend more money. So it seems ideal. It seems like he will be an excellent fit for Liverpool, but equally, he will be an excellent fit for Bayern Munich. And he is a German guy, so there's always that chance there. But what have we learned in the last 12 months? Bayern Munich don't get every German player they want to sign because Florian Wirtz does not play for Bayern Munich this season. So we just have to kind of wait and see for that one. But the rumours, there definitely is something to them, but this early seems a bit much. In January seems a bit too soon because he's such a crucial part of Niko Kovac's plans at Borussia Dortmund. And Borussia Dortmund, although they did lose their Klassiker at the weekend to Bayern Munich, they are the closest thing to stopping this Vincent Kompany side in Germany. They are capable of going deep into the Champions League this season. They are scoring lots of goals. They have an interesting hybrid attack with Adeyemi or Boyer kind of playing off Guirassy. They are an exciting team to watch. And at the back, Schlotterbeck is a key part of that. He's their leader. He's their best defender. He's also great at getting the ball out quickly, getting it into these attacking players so they can score goals. And at the moment, that's what Borussia Dortmund are doing a lot. I know anyone who watched them in the Champions League would be like, well, they conceded 4 to Juventus, so maybe this guy isn't a fantastic defender. But if you look at the results in the Bundesliga, they are so much better defensively this season than they probably have been in the last 10 years. Because Borussia Dortmund's biggest problem for lots of years has been they're just terrible at the back. They just concede stupid goals. They can have stupid results and they need a defensive leader. And he is the man they have at the moment. So they would be crazy to allow him to leave in January. So I don't think they will. So summer 2026, that's when you want to get Schlotterbeck to your club. So Liverpool, they're right. Start doing the work now and start convincing them and show them that Florian Wirtz is having a great time. Don't read what the media in England are saying. Florian Wirtz is a hero at Anfield and he will continue, just like you will be, Nico, when you move over next summer.
I wanted to ask you about the fact that you mentioned he could be a potential replacement successors of Virgil van Dijk. Is he good enough? I think right now he's 25, 26 years old. Do you think he does have the potential to be as good as Van Dijk? I mean, that is a big ask because he has
Well,
been
he's
the best
no
player in
Lewis
the world.
Dunk, but yeah.
But, is he someone who you see having that high ceiling, or is it, as it was always going to be inevitable, he's just slightly a bit of a downgrade from Virgil van Dijk?
Yeah, everybody is going to be a downgrade upward than Van Dijk, aren't they? That's not necessarily the way we should frame this question. Could he be a first choice defender for Liverpool week in, week out for years? Yes, he could. He has that sort of skill set. He has that talent. He has that mentality. Obviously Bayern Munich are interested in him. He will be their best defender immediately. He would be their best centre-back immediately. He would be Liverpool's second best defender immediately. And that's fine for Liverpool too. He would be an upgrade on what's there beside Van Dijk at the moment. And he would also, like you were saying earlier, help them play that 3 at the back formation if that's what they were going to go for, and maybe give Slaughter a plan B, or allow them to unleash this Kirkes and Frimpong wing-back approach, and maybe that would also unlock Florian Wirtz a bit more, because that's what he's used to from playing at Bayer Leverkusen too. So maybe to sign Schlotterbeck, it could be the best for everybody at the club.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned unlocking Wirtz, because I was looking at the numbers. They've played 13 games together and have won 12 of those games. So they seem to have a pretty good partnership. I think starting from Germany's under 21s to the senior national team, they seem to have had, when they play, they seem to get the results. I think the only time when it didn't happen was when Germany lost to Japan a couple of years ago. But other than that, they've seemed to have done very well together in the national team.
Yeah, I think the way Schlotterbeck plays, he kind of steps forward with the ball. So he'll bring the ball, and Wirtz, as you've seen from watching him at Liverpool, he sometimes will drop deeper. So there's that kind of connection to get the ball quick into the space that Wirtz has found for himself, kind of between the midfield and defence. And that will help unlock the spaces elsewhere, or free up spaces elsewhere. So whoever Germany's number 9 is on this decided month, because they go through number 9s looking eventually for someone, Voltemada seems to be their number 9 of choice, but it could be Jonathan Burkhardt, or it was Niklas Füllkrug a few years ago. So it could be any of these number 9s that have gone. Timo Werner, remember him? They had him for a while too. But yeah, whoever is kind of around that Wirtz can kind of find him, or Musiala, or one of the kind of pacey wingers they have, a Gnabry or a Sané or Adeyemi, or one of these sort of players. They can find that sort of player, and when Wirtz has the space to turn and move and kind of find the pass quicker, or dribble around a man and find the pass, then you will see him better. And that's what we've seen with Germany, that he has this sort of relationship, because that's the way Nagelsmann has played, and that's definitely the way Hansi Flick played, that they try and get the ball out of the defence quick. They try to find the spaces in the opposition half, and then capitalise on it by getting it into the forward quickly, or else getting it to a wide player, or maybe one of the fullbacks or the wing backs pushing up. So I think if Liverpool were to change to a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-2-1 or whatever, that approach could work. But I think he could easily work in a 4 at the back, because he is confident in the ball, just like Virgil van Dijk is confident in the ball. I think it would give you this option where you have 2 comfortable ball playing centre back halves, and also guys that can defend quite well, and maybe that would kind of give you the option of playing Kirkes and Frimpong together in a back 4 and seeing how that goes again too.
I think that's another question for me, is Schlotterbeck. I have seen him play a couple of times as a left back for Germany's senior national team. Do you think there's a possible scenario where, after Andy Robertson leaves in the summer, potentially, because his contract is expiring and it remains to be seen whether he's going to extend it, in order to accommodate him while Virgil van Dijk is still at the club, if Liverpool don't want to go with a back 3, he could potentially play as a left back and have Frimpong as the offensive, attacking fullback that he is, and him playing the sort of Kerkez role that Milos Kerkez is being asked to play at the moment, where he's playing a lot deeper, coming into the middle at times and being asked to play passes, put crosses in and things like that. Given how you described Schlotterbeck, it seems to me he could potentially become that sort of left-back option while Van Dijk is still at the club. Similarly to how Calafiori or some other Arsenal centre-backs have ended up becoming full-backs as well.
Yeah, and it's the Pep Guardiola kind of thing that Arteta has stolen this idea from Pep, where you'll just keep buying centre-backs and you play them wherever along the back four. And yeah, Schlotterbeck would fit kind of that mould too, that you could have him as your centre-back playing at left-back, so he can move across and you form a back three when your right-back pushes forward and give that defensive stability, or else as a left-back you're going to push on yourself and bring the ball, maybe pass it down the line, or else into the middle or into the half spaces. So yeah, I think he definitely could perform that role adequately. Would he have the pace to get forward to be a more of an attacking left back? Probably not. But if you're not asking that of him, and he doesn't need to do it, I don't see why he necessarily would struggle in a role like that, because I think he has all the attributes for it. He's obviously not a player who gets down the wing, and he doesn't have dribbling or those sort of technical skills that you would expect of a winger. But if you're going for him in this left back, centre back kind of hybrid role, don't see why it wouldn't work. And it could be a different option and give Arne Slot kind of something to think about. So yeah, these kind of versatile players, these versatile centre backs, you're seeing them more and more in the band. And Arsenal kind of bought one from Bayer Leverkusen themselves this summer in Hincapie, and have we even seen him yet? Does he even exist? Maybe they left him in Leverkusen. I don't know where he's been for the past few months. So yeah, if it works for Arteta, I'm sure Liverpool could do it, but do it better and come out with some trophies at the end of it. Because Arteta, the plans work, but just to like 95% of the way. But no, never that final 5%.
Do you know what? I think that is the perfect way to end this. Ronan, thank you for your time. And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at SwearI'mNotPaul, and I'm on Blue Sky at Ronan Murphy. But I don't post on Blue Sky because it's not fun.
Well, if you are on Blue Sky, give him a follow, just in case, for the rare event that you might post something. But definitely on the other social media platforms, do check him out. And once again, Ronan, thank you for your time. And for everyone else, thank you for listening in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much.